Hey guys, Justin here with Lucha Adventures. Today I'm going to talk about why and how to wear a pony bottle. So first off, a pony bottle is just an extra air source, usually a smaller tank that we can carry with us, just in case our primary fails and we want to be a little more self-reliant. We don't want to always have to go to a buddy, or maybe our buddy's the kind of guy who swims off and chases turtles instead of paying attention to us. But we'll talk a little bit more about the importance of it and what kind of dives I wear it on later. But here you can see my favorite way to wear it, slung on my left side. This is a pretty inexpensive method, and I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. So here's a little pile of some of the things that you'll need. This first bit is a piece of 1/4-inch bungee. Got a short length of it. I find that about 2 feet works pretty well for me. There you go, 2 feet. And then it doesn't matter too terribly much what material you use for this second part here, but I've got some paracord. You can use some cave line. You can use bale and twine. It's kind of just some little static piece of string that's got a little bit of durability to it. And then just something a foot and a half long will get the job done. You're also going to need an attachment point to your waist. So on my back plate and wing, I can add or remove these kind of things really easily. I've got a few options here. I only need one, but that last one there, that sliding D-ring, is my favorite and the one I'm going to be using today. And then lastly, you're going to need something to cut and burn for your finished product to make sure that you can kind of melt in those ends, keep them from fraying or backing out. On the pony bottle itself, I've already got this one rigged up. I've got a bolt snap, and I've used a little bit of paracord to attach it up underneath of this hose clamp. And then I've also got some bungee that I've turned into little retaining loops. I like 2 loops just to help hold that hose down. You can see all it is a first stage, second stage, and SPG. I've got a 40-inch hose. You can play around with that. And I've also got my SPG wrapped up to where it's a little easier to see. So move that stuff out of the way. I've got a back plate and wing here. I love the black back plate and wing. But even if you have a jacket style BC or any other style, a little ingenuity can go a long way. You can make it work. But you can see I found on the shoulder strap a nice little open area to put this on. And then I take that paracord and I tie a loop. Now again, a square knot or any other little simple form of attaching this will work. I'm using a double overhand, or also called a grapevine. It's got a couple of other names. But I find that to be very secure and have a nice pretty finish at the end. But the most important thing is that that loop goes around the shoulder, and it's not too loose, but not too tight. So too loose would be loose and floppy, sticking out away from the shoulder real easy. But too tight would be where I can't slide it up and down. So you'll see after I get this kind of melted down there, my finger fits under it, but that's about it. And that's perfect. That means that it's not loosey-goosey, but there's still some room to work with it. So get that melted down, make sure it's got a nice won't fray, won't back out kind of a finish to the knot. We'll go ahead and make sure that that's where we want it. Got a nice tension to it and it slides up and down. And then grab the bungee here and start fitting it into the back plate. Now if you have a different type of BC, feel free to be ingenuitive and find some other attachment point along the back. I've made it work with a lot of different styles. Jacket styles are the oddest to make it work with, but I have made it work with those just fine. So I've taken it up through the little piece of paracord that's on the shoulder strap, and then I take it back up to my attachment on the BC. Now with these back plates, it works out really well to just take it right through that hole and then tie a flat overhand on both those tails. This flat overhand just kind of locks everything into place and gives you a nice secure attachment that can be adjusted if you need to. You can just untie that and move that knot up or down wherever you need. So tighten that down just a little bit, make sure it's secure. And now you can see when I pull that back against that plate, I've got a loop just attached on there. We call this a loop bungee system for a reason. So that loop is secured between the plate and the little piece of paracord that I have around the shoulder strap, and that's going to keep it exactly where I want it during the dive, but I still can slide that paracord up and down. Oh, and that's me also saying that you got to make sure it comes out underneath your armpit. Don't use the wrong height of hole on your plate. So there we have that now. I'm going to go ahead and thread on my attachment point on my waist. On the back plate and wings, I just throw that on right there. I love the sliding D-rings. If you have some other type of BC, even a zip tie or just using one of the pre-existing attachment points, You can make this work in lots of different styles of BCs too. So now that we've got that put together, you can see the fit. This is a normal fit backplate and wing. My loop bungee comes out to the front of my chest. I want that to be right even with the front of my chest, not around it, but right even to it. I can still slide it down or back up just to make sure it can be out of the way or brought back into play for with or without a pony bottle. For the pony bottle then, the back of the valve is going to be your marker point for where that bolt snap goes around the circumference of the tank. And then the distance from your waist strap to your armpit is the measurement that you're going to use to figure out the distance from that bolt snap to the top of the tank. Now, I hook that onto my new attachment point on my waist, which you'll notice is kind of front of center. So it's about a 45-degree angle on my body. And then I rotate that tank around away from me. That'll give it a little extra tension to help hold it in place. I get my thumb through the bungee and just kind of loop it over that hand wheel and snap it loose. That's all it takes to put that on. You can see it holds it on me real nice, real clean. I still have great access to get to things. So here's me reaching for that hand wheel. I can easily turn it off and back on. And then obviously I need to be able to get to the second stage. Look at how easy that is. Pull that out. I can breathe on it. I've got a 40-inch hose, so you can clearly get a little shorter hose and you'd have less to have to manage when you're tucking it. But the reason I have that longer hose is I can also do this if I want. I can wrap it around behind my head and then breathe on it, and that gives me a little added security. It's harder for me to lose that. And then to tuck it back away, I just push it back down through those little bungee retaining loops that I have. This isn't something you generally have to do in the water. If you deployed this for an emergency, you just breathe it to the surface. But I got that tucked in there, and then I just stick the mouthpiece back up underneath the hose to kind of keep the second stage from wanting to flop around. To take it off, get my thumb in between the two sections of bungee there, and then just push it down and around, and it'll pop it off of that hand wheel. And then just undo the bolt snap from the waist, and there it is, easy to take off of you. Now that we know how to set up the rig, I want to show in the water how well this works. So here I'm going to switch to my pony bottle. I take out my primary. I go ahead and clip it off because I know I'm going to be able to get to that pony bottle. By the way, this video is sped up to like 1.5 speed. So there it is, real easy to get to and use. And then also, like I showed in that other bit of video, I can take that out, put it behind my head, and make it a little more comfortable if I'm going to be on it for a little longer or want that added bit of extra security. Then here's what it looks like if you're the one out of air and you're coming up to me. I can just donate my pony bottle to you. So here I am donating the pony bottle to Morgan. And one beautiful thing about this is we don't have to stay attached by a hose. I can actually take this completely off very easily, hand it right to her, and then she can take that with her. And then here it is. She went ahead and handed it back to me. So again, sped up video, but I am retucking that hose. And you can see even in the water, very easy to reattach to my waist, roll it up against me, and then reattach that hand wheel. And everything is beautiful and streamlined. And then here at the end, while I show you that the function of the rest of my rig is still perfectly fine, I want to point out that I like the pony bottle particularly for deep dives and cold dives. It's nice anytime you don't want to have to rely on a buddy, but on deep dives, I might need to switch to an alternate gas source in the case of a primary failure, and I need an extended amount of time to safely get to the surface. And in cold water, there's always a high chance of freeze up, so I want that redundant air for that as well. Hope this helps you guys. Have a great day.